Hello class. I want to go over a few things as you're getting your feedback on your essay number 2, The Hero's Journey. And I was really impressed overall with how much analysis you're all doing. And what that means, and it's really one of the most important things in an essay, is that you're actually digging into the story, you're digging into the hero's journey chart, and you're digging into Joseph Campbell's chapter to really explore these two sources, or three sources rather, and how they fit together, and how one source, particularly the Joseph Campbell information, helps to illuminate what is happening to poor Ralph Ellison in his struggle in Battle Royal. And so I was very impressed with the level of analysis. Most of the problems are very surfacey, surface changes and MLA changes and better editing that need to happen. So the first thing is, of course, the dreaded works cited page. And I did give you a works cited page example in your module. It was a PDF, and it contains 3 of the sources you needed to use. So the first one was the 17 stages chart. The second one, there's no name here because Campbell is being used again, and that is how you cite an author that is being used the second time. And that is the chapter. And then the third one is Ellison's Battle Royal. So it's frustrating when these pages look ugly or they are not done correctly because most of the work has been done for you. Dun, dun, dun. You needed to only fit in your outside source that you found and used in the essay. And remember, the main problems were these. Make sure your authors are alphabetized by last name. This weird space or indent after the first line is called a hanging indent. And you need to have that set up for your works cited page in advance so that you can accomplish a hanging indent. I will real quickly show you on a Word file how to do that. So you've got your Word document. Okay, and you want to go to paragraphs. All right, that's your first step. Paragraph has all these little choices for you, spacing, etc. Okay, dots, and you go to line and paragraph spacing, which is on the second line. Click on the drop-down menu, and it will give you line spacing options. Here you get this page where don't mess with anything, keep everything the same, but you want to make sure that you go to special indentation and that you click on hanging. So everybody should see that, okay? So you leave the general information the same. For your indentations, only for the works cited page, you want to make sure you have a hanging indent. And then that is set up for you so that once you begin typing this information, like I did on your sample, you will have this hanging indent, and it needs to be double spaced. So point number 1. Point number 2 is to make sure that you have a thesis. A lot of you talked about exploring the idea of Battle Royal or exploring the hero's journey, or you were going to show that the hero's journey is in Battle Royal. You were asked specifically to discuss how. This is my favorite prompt word. How? How is this story a hero's journey? How is it? And some of the really great thesis statements said things like, the young man thinks his quest is to deliver a speech, and he finds out his quest is to fight for social equality. Others of you talked about the fact that he is learning a lot about the world around him, but he really thought that the other young African-American men in the fight, were beneath him. And that is a humbling experience he gets when he gets the you-know-what beat out of him. He also truly believes that some of the leaders of the white leaders of the town are his friends, and they are his allies, and he learns an ugly truth about race relations as well. So you have to have an advanced, complex argument to sustain a paper of this length. I've set up for you an example. These are the instructions that you guys had. And then I've set up for you a revision assignment. And on the revision assignment is an example essay from a previous class. You have a week little over a week actually, to get the revision submitted. Make sure that you are addressing all of the comments that are put on your paper by me for you. They are the annotated comments that show up on the side. Okay, read those. And also read the sample paper and read the rubric again. So the one thing I wanted to point out that a lot of students don't do that this particular author did well was he pairs the stages. So here he's talking about the call to adventure with something that happens in the story, but he uses direct quotes for both. Okay? So he talks about the dying words of his grandfather, right? Learn it to the youngins. A lot of you use this quote as a call to adventure. But instead of just saying, hey, that's a call to adventure, he says this is defined by Joseph Campbell as the hero starts off in a mundane situation, okay, of normality, from which some information is received that acts as a call to head off into the unknown. And most of you are using your parenthetical citations correctly. This actually should be 17 stages because that's what he's quoting. If you're going to quote the Campbell chapter, make sure you remember to do page numbers. Same with the Battle Royal short story. But every time you use a quote from Campbell to establish that a stage is happening inside the story, then you should use a quote from the story to show that stage in action. All right? And I think this will be an easier revision for you because you are all improving, and I'm very, very pleased. So get started, and if you have questions, please contact me.